All right, import sets. A way of populating our data records. So not configuration changes, but our actual data records.
So bringing stuff in from somewhere else.
Yep,
Okay.
exactly. An external source, bringing it in. So what they are, that's what they are. And we'll get through the process here, which is a transform map. And coalesce, we're turning on a key field.
Coalesce. That's a weird word.
So our process. We have our external data source, whatever we may want that to be. An external database, file transfer, just an Excel sheet that's local, which is what we're going to be doing in our lab. And then our import set table. If our instance is a house, our import set table's the front porch. Not really quite inside yet, but still inside. So we have our external source. We get it to our import set table, our transform map. This is where we're telling from the temporary table, column 1 is column 2 on our target table. If they have like names, they'll go ahead and auto match for you. But we can specify column 1 to column Z, column 2 to column A.
So like you said, it's really matching your fields in the staging table or in that import set table to the actual target tables in ServiceNow.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we see some of our target tables seem to be user, right? We're populating these data records.
So we might bring in our groups, our locations.
Locations, departments, things of that sort.
Okay.
I would definitely say so. Like we were talking when users, though, if we like our group structure and our LDAP, bringing all that in.
Sure. And it looks like there's quite a few data sources that I can choose from. I mean, JDBC, HTTP, Excel,
Yes.
CSVs, XML. Okay.
Many different external data sources we use.
Cool.
Best practice, remove obsolete data before we bring it in. Fix inaccurate data before we bring it in.
Garbage in, garbage out, right?
Garbage in, garbage out.
That's
Oh, no, we just
old
have to,
school.
we have to have the stuff in. We have to have it in. We'll clean it up later.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't get cleaned up later.
Or it's probably, it's easy to use. I know how to use Excel, right? I'm new to ServiceNow,
Yes.
so yeah, it'd be probably easier to just get rid of it in Excel, I guess. Yeah, that's a good point.
And understanding where it's going to go. What's our
What do you
target
mean?
table?
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah. So again, coming back to me knowing that the table structure,
The table
and
structure
the
is
whole
gonna be
schema
important.
map. Okay, good.
So what we're bringing in, why we're bringing it in, and where it's going to go.
Sure.
So just to walk through that idea again here. We have our data source. We load it to that temporary table, the import set table.
And that table's actually in ServiceNow.
It is.
Okay. But it's just a temporary.
It's a temporary staging table.
Like you said, kind of like I'm on the property, I'm on the front porch, but I haven't put it in the rooms I want, right?
Exactly.
Okay, good. That makes sense.
We have our transform map then. So we see our little screenshot down there in the bottom left. 1 is going to 2, 4 is going to 6.
Sure. We're mapping the fields.
Mapping the fields from our temporary to our permanent.
And I suspect they could be the same, but they might be different.
If they're the same, we have a mapping assist which will auto map the field names.
Oh, okay. And if they don't, what happens if they don't?
Then we can go ahead and we use what's over on the right to
Oh.
map from our imported to our ServiceNow table.
Oh, the mapping assist. Mm-hmm. Hey.
And so a little trick here, if you know exactly where you're mapping to out on your Excel file, change your column names.
Oh, sure.
And then it'll auto map.
Then it'll
exactly.
automatically map.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Just a little trick. So yeah, and then we run that transform map, and boom, it's done. We have information in our target tables.
So run transform populates
Our target
actual tables. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And yeah, our mapping assist over on the right. What we can do, here's coalesce, that word you like. We can go ahead and coalesce on a field, and we can do on a set of fields. But right now, we're just going to talk about a single field. We're turning that field into a key field. We're looking to match on that field. If we match on that field, we update the existing record. No match, we insert a new record. So very nice on a single field. You can turn it on multiple fields, but then it has to match exactly on all those fields. So 1, nice. 2, 3, 4, okay. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Why do I need to match
Why
on
are
all
we
of
doing
those?
it? Yeah.
Because then we get to one little keystroke off in any of those fields, and you're creating a duplicate record.
So while you were talking, I looked that up. Coalesce means to bring together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's essentially saying, what's our unique key that combines these two?
Exactly.
Oh, okay, great.
Coalesce, bringing them together
Bringing
on
them
that
together.
field,
Okay.
or small set of fields.
So if I don't find a match, it would
Insert a new record.
create a new. Okay. But if I do find a match,
Update the existing record.
oh, sure,
that-
okay.
where that
Instead of
matches.
creating, or else I'd end up with duplicates.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, so yeah, here underneath system import sets, we have load data, create transform map, run transform. Those were the 3 steps we talked about in the slides.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's what we're going to do in lab.
The 3 things we need to do to bring data in.
Exactly. Notice down here underneath administration, though, we can define data sources and transform maps and schedule them to run.
Oh, so automatically.
Exactly. Once we have that data source defined, if it's a file transfer, we have, it's out on a file server, what we're bringing in.
You could say run it every day at 3 a.m. or something like that.
Exactly.
Oh,
Run that
cool.
on a schedule. So let's explore this a little bit. Data source. We have some examples in here that you can go ahead and take a look at. I'm going to go ahead and pop up new. Give it a name. So this will be import set table label. Okay, this is the label, right? So we'll just copy this over. What type and format we're talking about here now? So file, JDBC, LDAP, these other types that we're bringing in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go ahead and say we're bringing in an Excel.
That's just from that first slide we looked at, right? The different
Yes,
data
the
sources.
different data source types.
Okay.
So with Excel, right, we get sheet and header.
What does zipped mean?
If where we go out to get this, right now our file retrieval method is an attachment.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a zipped file out there that we're pulling in.
Oh, okay. So we can actually pull in from a zipped file.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And so we have some specifics to Excel down here, not right? So what sheet number?
Right, because Excel can have multiple sheets and
What our header row
could
is.
be down in 5 or something. Sure.
Down here we get other file retrieval methods. File
the
transfer,
FTP,
HTTP, right? So with these we're going to need to know that retrieval type
Sure.
of information.
Know your data, where it is, right?
Right. Server, file path, username and password to authenticate into that file transfer server.
Absolutely.
So we can go ahead and set all this up. So this is defining a data source. Not very well defined. Then we have our transform maps down here,
Okay.
where before this data source we can define where it's going to live, right?
So what my data is in my original place and where it's going to map to in ServiceNow.
Exactly.
Okay.
Where it's going to live in those permanent tables. Transform maps we have right here as well. So we have transform maps. We're going to create one in our lab.
Sure.
Now I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to look at scheduled imports over here. So we have 2 examples in here.
So it just looks like LDAP is a scheduled import.
LDAP is a scheduled
Oh,
import.
great.
So then scheduling this out, we'll give it a name, what our data source is. So we just defined that data source, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give it a wonderfully unique name. Run as. This will be important here. Run as system admin. So this transform map is going to run, this whole data import is going to run with full rights of sysadmin.
Oh, okay.
If we want to bring that down, we could say we're importing knowledge articles.
Mm-hmm.
We could run that here, and then we'd only need to run that as the knowledge admin.
Sure. Okay.
So just changing our rights, and then when it's going to run,
Just set it up on a schedule.
daily, weekly, monthly, periodically,
Oh, cool.
conditional.
Conditionally.
We can go
Ooh.
ahead and
What's that?
once you take our scripting
Our
class,
script. Oh,
you
okay.
can go ahead and get writing some of your own script here.
Okay.
Again, scripts, so we can execute pre and post imports. So we can execute a script to check 2 columns and combine them, check 2, 3, 4, 8 columns and combine them into one,
So
or
like concatenate or things like that.
concatenate,
Sure. Okay.
run a value. maybe script it to convert from one currency type to another.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So, and then if you want to execute pre or post import.
Okay.
Schedule, data source, scheduling this out, when it's going to start, conditional. And yeah, in our lab, we're going to step through this process, just a one-off. Well, a two-off, because we're going to bring in one set, then we're going to turn on coalesce.
Where's that coalesce field, Micah?
So to coalesce, that's on a transform map.
Oh.
So this is create new. So I'm going to go to an existing one to show it. We are going to do it in our lab.
Okay.
So pop up computer.
Okay.
And we do have some script in here.
Okay.
But down here,
oh, there's
we
the
have our
coalesce
fields.
field. Okay. So, okay, got it. Because you said you coalesce on an actual field.
And you can
so
just
in this case, we
double-click.
see that, what is it?
We have
serial
one true
number.
down here, serial number.
Oh, and you're just double clicking and
Just
changing it.
double click to list
Okay.
edit.
So now if I did those two, those both would have to match.
They
like
both
you
have
said
to match
earlier.
exactly.
Oh, okay, got it. Cool. That's great.
And so yes, in our lab, we're going to go ahead and build those out, build out a transform map. We are going to coalesce on a field. So what are import sets? A way of bringing data records in.
Okay, so bringing data into ServiceNow. I'd imagine every client needs to bring in some kind of
Some
data.
data.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Seems so easy.
Very easy. And you see how easy it was to schedule.
Sure, yeah.
Any questions spring to mind before we get into the lab?
No, I want to play with this. I want to bring some data into my instance. And again, I have these files already.
You have these files.
These are the
from
ones I got on Saba. Okay.
Exactly.
Great.
So there'll be two here. We're going to import one.
Okay.
We're going to then turn on coalesce.
Okay.
And import another.
Okay. So we're going to do two. So essentially import it once, and then I'm assuming doing an update.
An update.
Okay. Great.
An initial load and then an incremental load.
Okay. I will give it a try.
And again, we do have another dependency here, the same lab 3.1.
Okay.
we
Which
have
I did already.
Because we have to have tables to import information into.
That makes sense. So if you don't have the tables, where are you going to import the data?
Exactly.
Got it. All right. Thanks, Micah.
Okay, so Lab 3.3, how'd you like bringing in records?
That was awesome. It was almost too easy to bring data in. Wow, I can't get over that. Long as you do the 3 steps, right?
Absolutely.
You know, bringing in the import and creating that transform map. I can see if you forget that, it's not going to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as long as you understand the table structure, wow, it really is easy to bring data into ServiceNow.
And in this lab, I had you go back in and clean up and remove.
I was going to ask you about that. Do we have to do that?
No, you don't have to.
Oh, okay.
The idea here is that we did an initial load.
Yep.
And then from now on, we're going to be creating these records in the platform.
Oh, okay.
So
So
we
it's
don't-
just a one-time off, which is why we got rid of it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I definitely don't want someone else down the line coming in and maybe accidentally using the transform map and bringing data into somewhere that I wanted data
Okay.
in.
Sure.
So
Okay.
just to clean that up.
That makes sense now. Thanks again.
All right.